world.
Now, as we established yesterday, we're bringing you timely updates on the events across the country given the protests called for by the de facto opposition, and that is against the high cost of living and demands that the Finance Act 2023 be repealed. Joining me now, we have Kevin Mutai in Mombasa, Bridget Ngana in Nakuru, Oko Kusa in Kisumu, Gabriel Kudaka is in Kisii, and I feel like I'm forgetting one more person, NTV Zacchaeus Masame, who should be in, is it Kakamega, Jackson? All right, Jackson Derangu is on the other side of this earpiece. He is guiding me. We begin with Kevin Mutai here on my right. Kevin, what is the situation in Mombasa today? I know yesterday the leaders did not turn out to demonstrate. Will we be expecting them on the streets today?
It's a sunny morning from the port city of Mombasa, Olive, and a very good morning. We are here live at the roundabout of Digo Road and Jomo Kenyatta Avenue, and what I can see, if my cameraman Peter Wainaina can just show you those live pictures so that you can understand the mood of the situation of today, day 2 of Maandamano. As you can see that businesses are operating, public transport is also operating as usual, and compared to yesterday, what I can say is that the numbers of residents of Mombasa have come to the central business district, and like yesterday, where quite a number of them avoided these places for fear of any violence. This morning, I spoke to one of the top police commanders in Mombasa, and he told me that the assessment of the security situation doesn't signal any cause for alarm, and they have only deployed to specific areas where they have mapped out where they believe that there could be potential cases of protest. Yesterday we saw youth burning tires along Moi Avenue, specifically at around Express area, and that is one of the key areas that they will be also monitoring today. But as of this morning, our spot check in that particular area, we've noticed that there's a general sense of calm and people are going about their daily activities. And of course, also it is also not worth noting, Olive, that roadblocks have also been mounted on this second day of Azimio countrywide anti-government protests, and one of the roadblock has been mounted along Nyali Bridge, both sides of the bridge accessing the CBD, and of course also heading out to the constituencies of Nyali and Kisauni, but we've not received any cases of protests or any plans so far from the Azimio leadership and associates from this region. You stated clearly that yesterday we did not see any leaders from this particular region partaking in the protest, and that is the same situation today. I have personally tried to reach out to a couple of those leaders, but their phones have gone unanswered, and we still haven't gotten any information of what they are planning. If at all, they will be part of today's protest, but of course also will be also monitoring to the other side of town, especially in Likoni, Jomvu and Changamwe constituencies. Yesterday there were pockets of violence in Bangladesh area, where also a group of youth had gathered and tried to demonstrate, but police had to intervene and dispersed them. The same situation we're also expecting today. We've seen a couple of police vehicles, a lorry and a couple of Land Cruisers patrolling the CBD, and as I said earlier, the police have planned and deployed accordingly to ensure that they'll be able to monitor each and every position of the port city of Mombasa. Remember also, we are keeping an eye on what is happening across the 6 coastal counties. Yesterday there were a bit of cat and mouse chase between protesters and the police, especially in Tuapa, where we saw some of the 2 leaders in that particular area getting arrested. One of them is Ken Chonga, that is Member of Parliament, Kilifi South, and of course also the Speaker of the County Assembly of Kilifi, that is Teddy Mwambide. They were both arrested and transferred for interrogation at the DCI headquarters in Kilifi town before they were released. So we still do not know if the other leaders from the region will show up. We saw Stewart Madzayo leading that particular protest in Kilifi. That is the Senator, Kilifi Senator Stewart Madzayo, in the company of also Member of Parliament Malindi, and of course a couple of members of the County Assembly. So what we have not seen in Mombasa is any of those leaders showing up and partaking in the demonstration. So it's a wait and see or leave. But generally, what we can inform our viewers is that Mombasa is calm. Learning activities have also resumed as usual after yesterday's directive from the Ministry of Education that the security surveillance and the assessment of the situation in the county of Mombasa, all is good, and school is going on and normalcy has returned. So that's the general sense, the feeling on here in Mombasa, and we'll be keeping an eye, monitoring the situation this day too of the anti-government protests that are not only happening in Mombasa, but of course also the entire country. And as I said, Olive, this calm in Mombasa and everything is going on as usual. Back to you, Olive.
All right, Kevin, a quick one before I let you go. You did mention Kilifi. Any word on Honorable Ken Chonga, MP Kilifi South, Teddy Mwambire, Speaker Kilifi County, and Babu Owino, who tweeted that he was taken into custody on arrival at the airport in Mombasa?
Well, we haven't heard anything from them yet, but what we understand is that Babu Owino had left Mombasa on the day he was arrested at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi, but so far there are scanty details about their whereabouts. But of course also yesterday the Azimio leader Raila Odinga came out clearly saying that they have dispatched a couple of lawyers, a team of lawyers to request for their release without any condition, and saying that they are probably expecting that they will be detained in undisclosed places. But of course that is something that we'll be looking into. But what we can inform our viewers is that the Kilifi leaders who are arrested, they are within the Kilifi County, and of course I believe that they will be recording more statements today regarding what happened yesterday, and for sure we will be keeping an eye on all the happenings regarding Maandamano here in Mombasa, Olive, and I'm sure that we'll be updating our viewers accordingly regarding what as far as anything crops up from these events.
Thank you for that update, Kevin Mutai. We now cross over to Kisii County, where Gabriel Kudaka is standing by. How do things look today, Gabriel?
Yeah, very good morning to you. And we're at one of the main markets here in Kisii town, where calm is slowly returning to the area after yesterday's fracas. And like yesterday, at a time like this, the streets were literally empty. There were no border operators around. But today, we have the mama mbogas around with their wares here, selling to the customers who are willing to buy their goods. And last night as well, I've been informed by my colleague Ruth Mbula that we had some fracas around Ogembo town along Kisii-Kilgoris road, but where youth had blocked the road, but police were able to clear the road, and as at now, the road is now passable, at least for now. We also know that according to the county commander of this area, Charles Casses, 8 people were last evening arrested in connection with the demonstrations, and they are meant to be taken to the court this morning as well. But today, the town looks a bit calm. People are going about their business uninterrupted, and they are hoping it shall continue the same way. Let's hear from some of the people who are selling their groceries here, and just to get the expectations. Habari mami, leo hali namna gani?
Hali si mbaya. Jana ndio kulikuwa hata hatukuwa tunaona hata gari hapa, lakini leo ninaona hata motorbikes zinapita, hata mboga ninaona watu wakiendelea kupita tukiusausa. Hata hivyo tunaomba leo siku iwe mzuri, rais wetu Ruto na rais Raila Odinga waketi pamoja ili waweze kuongea, waelewane, ili watoto warudi shule. Hata sisi vile tunaendelea kungangana kutafuta hapa ili tupate school fees, tukitoka hapa tukienda kutafuta mboga kali hakuna, tunalipa bei juu. Kama jana nikienda kutravel kwenda Magena, mboga yenyewe nililipa pagunia moja 300, while sometimes back tulikuwa tunalipa 100. Sasa jana ilikuwa so expensive.
Asante sana. That's how it is at the moment here. At least calm is returning in the town, and we have seen the police patrolling the area just to ensure that all is well. And we hope it shall be the same way. But then, in case anything changes, we shall keep you posted. But from here, we are going to go to the court to see what happens there. Back to you.
All right, thank you for that update, Gabriel. Interesting getting a sense of the situation there from the Mambamboga. Pass my regards, and it appears so far Mombasa, Kisii business is running apace. Is the situation similar in Nakuru County? And now we're joined by Bridget Ngana, who's been keeping an eye on events there. Yesterday was an eventful day, Bridget. You looked at the schools. There was a firearm that was brandished, the protests in Nakuru West. What is the situation today?
Well, the situation is much better compared with Wednesday, and being a Thursday, the town is really bustling right now to life, and you can see the parking lots are really fuller compared with what we witnessed yesterday. And as you've said, within the CBD, people have come out to continue with their daily lives. I'm just on my right, I can see Masai Market, and most of the shops that were closed yesterday are back in session. They are open. People are within the town. You could see people walking on the streets. Yesterday, this street looked like a ghost town, and you can see vehicles. Behind me is the county fire and rescue station, and that was also kind of a shutdown yesterday, but today it's quite open. That is Kenyatta Avenue. As you can see, vehicles are en route to different directions. People are going about their businesses. Banks have opened up. Hotels and other businesses are up and running. A sense of normalcy resuming here in Nakuru City. But Olive, I could just give you a caveat, because the issue is within Nakuru West constituency, and that is outside what is in town. So we are really keen on following up on what is really happening within Nakuru West constituency. Unfortunately, on Wednesday, 2 people died and they were shot at during the demonstrations, and some people were injured. There have been arrests here, and there are nearly 19 people have been arrested as being part of Wednesday's protest. So that is the status right now, but we do anticipate that there wouldn't be much. Our schools have reopened, both private and public schools have gone back to lessons to continue with their learning, and we also anticipate that there would be much, but the issue here is what is happening in Nakuru West. So my eyes are really trained on Nakuru West constituency, because yesterday we also witnessed the Member of Parliament there chiding the police officers, telling them that they are not doing their work, they're not arresting the people who are causing the chaos in that constituency. But that we are yet to see if that constituency is still full of unrest. We understand that the operation to contain that constituency went on even into the late hours of the night. We also hope to speak with security officials in the course of the day to just understand what is really happening within Nakuru West constituency, even as day 2 of the nationwide anti-government protests are expected to continue in different parts of the country. But Olive, follow me on my Twitter handle and on my other social media platforms. I'll be keeping the nation updated with what is happening in Nakuru West.
And next to my name if it was Facebook. But yeah, thank you for that comprehensive update. In fact, you took the next question right out of my mouth, which was on the questions of those who were killed and injured in the protests yesterday. She has told us that 19 were arrested. We see whether they'll be arraigned in court and on what charge and what their fate will be. Okay, now, thank you for that update, Bridget. As you train your eyes at Nakuru West, we're training our eyes on you and your Twitter handle, @Bridget. Let's now cross over to Kisumu, where we have Oko Okusa on standby. Okusa, how do things look this morning? I see those officers I see behind you.
Yes, Olive, of course, it's a bit fluid here. The situation is a bit fluid here, and as just clearly mentioned there, right behind me there, you can see a contingent of general service personnel working in conjunction with the local, the National Police Service, just standing there in readiness for whatever will happen in the coming hours. It's still very uncertain, and of course there's that uneasy calm that we usually say, the calm, that calm before a storm. So that is what actually is happening here right now. This is next to Juakali area, the area, that particular area that has been notorious for the fires. A lot of confrontations have been happening here. Yesterday we witnessed another one which resulted into several sheds, Juakali sheds, being raised down by a fire that is alleged to have been caused by an explosion from one of the tear gas canisters as police were trying to disperse the protesters. A couple of minutes ago we had a tear gas explosion on the side of the Kisumu bus park. We'll in a short while try to head there and find out what is really happening. But so far what we understand is that there are pockets of crowds that have gathered all the way from Kondele, Kibuye, at the bus park again, down the road towards along the Kisumu-Nairobi road, that is somewhere called Nyamasaria. Of course, we are also made to understand that there are also some tension or pockets of protesters gathered there. Yesterday, of course, we witnessed the local member of parliament, that is Dr. Joshua Oron, leading a huge crowd of demonstrators, and police dispersed them at some point. Today, we are yet to understand or to get information whether there will be leaders participating in any form of street processions or protest. So that is something that we will be getting for our viewers in the coming hours. Last night, we got unconfirmed reports that the Western Kenya regional manager for Kenya Airports Authority, that is Selina Gore, was attacked by goons. We will be speaking to the police after this to confirm, to ascertain whether that is true and how serious it was, and the condition of the manager, if indeed she was attacked by goons, as it was claimed from the reports that we got. So basically that is it. Little tensions here. Of course, the schools have not reopened as directed by the government. In the morning, we saw actually a couple of pupils being turned away from several schools, one of them being Panpieri in Nyalenda slums. And right here on my right is Aga Khan Primary School, and of course the gates are closed. No learning is happening there. So we'll be here to keep our viewers updated on what transpires as the day goes by, Olive.
All right, thank you, Okusa, for that update. Do again keep safe as best you can. The situation in Kisumu slightly different from that in Mombasa, Nakuru, and